Hi, I guess. My name is Dylan, and I am on day 7 of, in essence, the hard 75, except it's actually going to be the hard 150. Um, Sorry, I'm going to be kind of awkward at first. I'm used to kind of looking at myself while I record. If you've seen any of the previous 6 iterations of this, then you kind of understand what I'm talking about. I used to do front facing camera, but now I'm trying rear facing camera. I'm going to go ahead and apologize again for how absolute shit the quality was before. I can't guarantee it's going to be better, but I'm trying. I didn't do any kind of video editing prior to trying this, so I'm kind of learning as I go. But I mentioned before that I wanted to kind of give a little bit of background information about myself, about why I'm doing this, why, I mean, you shouldn't really care, but why you could potentially. I don't know. I wrote down a couple of questions about, like, why, what did I do before this? Who am I? What is wrong with me? That kind of stuff. So, I guess we'll just fly into it. I'm gonna apologize, but you kind of signed up for this. Watch it or don't. It's your choice. It might be entertaining. So, what did I do before this? Well, this is kind of it's a very loaded question. I'm 25 years old. I was in the Army for 4 years. When I turned 18, signed up. I was a combat medic. Went to Korea and Poland and Germany, and I learned a lot. I made a lot of really good friends, and yeah, it was great. Got married sometime in there, and kind of got married, did the whole Army thing, got out, was kind of in okay-ish shape. I struggled with drinking pretty much throughout that entire 4 years of military, which it's a cultural thing. I'm not going to get into that. That's not what this is about. But I struggled with that for a long time. Ultimately, that caused, or was a key factor in my divorce, was my drinking. So I got divorced, I guess, the end of 2022, and kind of spiraled there for a while. Didn't get anything productive. I just want to make sure I'm still filming. Didn't get anything productive done. Almost lost my job. I work as a career firefighter right now for the county that I live in. I love it. Love the job. Great. I have no complaints about it. I was a dirtbag. I'm not proud of it, but I've learned from it, or I like to think that I have, at least. So, and I'm kind of an open book. I'm very open about this. Unpopular opinion, I don't think enough people talk about kind of mental health, and especially men's mental health. There's starting to be more of a trend to people kind of paying attention to it and actually acknowledging that, hey, this is a thing. There's a reason guys are killing themselves all the fucking time. But again, that's not what this is about. I'm a huge advocate of it. I've been to counseling. I've been, not technically to like a licensed therapist, but I did talk to a licensed counselor. He helped me tremendously in kind of healing from my divorce, and for me to kind of take ownership and responsibility for, the pain that I've caused and the actions that I took before, but also the responsibility of the actions that I'm taking currently. So I know that was kind of a big just blurb, but long story short, I wasn't a really great person. I had a real low point. I reached out, got some help. I don't want to say, overnight it completely changed my life, but it was really nice to kind of get that third party to talk about, hey, am I crazy for thinking this? Or is this normal? Is this too much drinking? And he pretty much recommended, yeah, you should probably stop drinking. If you can't control when you do drink, then you should probably just stop. He gave the example, let's say I invite you to a coffee shop, and I say, oh, don't worry, 9 times out of 10, I'll drive us there totally fine. But that 1 out of 10 times, yeah, we're gonna wreck. Probably not gonna ride with me. So if you're fine drinking most of the time, but every once in a while you just get completely out of control, probably shouldn't drink. Or at the very least, you need to drink in a better manner. But again, that's not what this is about. That's just it's stuff that I'm passionate about. You'll notice I tend to ramble and just go all over the place. But what made me decide to do this, and if you notice me glancing down, I've got my questions set up down below. What made me decide to do this was, it was around June, July time period. My birthday's in July, so that's when I quit vaping and kind of just quit nicotine in general. But I started noticing, I was picking up some better habits, and I'd been tracking my calories because I've been trying to cut weight. At one point, I hit about 255, 260, and my quality of life was decreasing. I couldn't run. I barely wanted to move. Like, I would get out of breath very easily. And I enjoy running. I enjoy being active, but I wasn't. So I made the decision that, hey, if I can consistently track my calories, stay at a 500 deficit, what do I have to lose? So I started doing that for 2 months, and I started seeing some tremendous progress, and it helped that I wasn't drinking during that time either. So again, we hit that kind of June, July, end of July time frame, and I was just kind of bebopping around. I had set goals prior to all of this, and I want to hit a certain weight, and I want to keep going to the gym, and I want to get consistent about this, and I'm journaling, and I'm making these improvements to my life, but I didn't have a solid plan. I didn't have a true kind of rule set, if you will. And I remembered the Hard 75. I had tried it previously, actually earlier this year, I want to say. Yeah, earlier this year. I tried it with a couple of friends, and I made it 20, 30 days, something like that. But I wasn't taking progress pictures, and I wasn't super consistent with my workouts. I would kind of fub stuff here and there. And then about like day 30, I had a drink, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to mess with it anymore. So that kind of went to the wayside, and then my drinking really picked up, and it kind of just went downhill from there. But again, kind of getting that hard and fast guideline and rules will be very beneficial for me, because I like having rules and structure. I thrive very well in structure. But that's kind of why I wanted to do the videos instead of just doing pictures. I want to do the videos because it isn't something that I've tried before, and it is kind of forcing me to not so much be unstructured, but to try something I've never seriously attempted before, but something I've had an interest in for a while, as well as being able to capture the full kind of breadth of my emotions, and like, I'll be able to get my mood. It's so much useful information that you're gonna miss out on by just taking a still picture. And I could write a little blurb about, oh, I felt like this during the day, but if you can actually see it in my face, like, you'll know when I look like shit. You'll be able to tell that I'm struggling that day, or that, hey, I'm killing it, and then I can help me figure out what's working and what's not. And ultimately, that's kind of the main thing that I want to get out of this, is I want to figure out what works for me and what doesn't. I want to figure out, is this something that's not necessarily sustainable forever, but are there a lot of like practices that I can take from this that I can implement into kind of my normal day-to-day life? I feel like there absolutely is. And that's one of the big reasons I wanted to try this. And if you've looked at any of the video titles, you'll know it's the Hard 75, except it's actually the Hard 150. I'm doing it 150 days, which should end up around January 5th. I don't know the exact date. I'm not super pressed about it, but it should end up sometime around January 5th. And the reason I wanted to pretty much double the time was I think it is something that is maybe not indefinitely sustainable. I think it is something that all of the requirements of the Hard 75 are entirely in line with what I wanted to cultivate as good habits and what I wanted to accomplish just as an individual. So if there's rules and it's what I want to do anyway, it's like a fish in water. I mean, it's almost like it was made for me. So that's where I'm kind of sitting at with this. Again, I'm trying to get better about filming. I think that filming is something that I could really get into. I do enjoy kind of talking, and I'm hoping that I'm less freaking awkward by the end of all this, and just getting exposed to it, getting more comfortable with it. That's the goal. I would love to be able to actually keep some people on this journey with me, and I think it's going to be really interesting by the time I hit day 150 to go back and look at kind of just the improvements in my mood, my mindset, my editing ability, literally everything. Almost every aspect of my life is going to change over the next 6 months. I should be moving houses, or at the very least finishing up building mine. I'm going to be very stable in my job. Like, I'm already making tremendous progress with cutting weight, and I'm arguably in the best shape of my life right now. So what more can I accomplish? What more can I do? I'm wanting to become somebody that I can look in the mirror and be proud of. And I think that completing this challenge and actually pushing myself to achieve this is something that's going to help me along that path. And I invite you guys to either follow along with me, or if nothing else, I hope somebody can get something out of this. And it's so cliche, but it is true. If one person gets something out of this, even a laugh, then it's worth it to me. But thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I appreciate it. I guess I will talk to you guys again here in a week in this format. And of course, I'll talk to you tomorrow. But yeah, I'll see you around.